Hello. So today I'm doing a psychic reading on Nithyananda. Paramahamsa Nithyananda is his full name. He is a Hindu leader, Indian guru who lives he used to live in India. And he says he is the reincarnation of Shiva, and he has trained these girls to be able to see blindfolded, basically with their third eye. Um, and I have looked into that, and I do believe there is validity to that. Um, I also have seen the same person who actually got me interested in that looked into other cases of that around the world, and it's also gone in and on in Germany, I believe, is where there's other cases of that, and there's some other videos, and apparently there are classes where you can learn to do this, and I'll actually link the link below this video for you to check that out, because it's pretty interesting stuff, seeing these kids who are able to be blindfolded and see things. It's basically remote viewing, but from the center of their head and in present time. Um, so anyways, Nithyananda is someone who I got into a little bit because of those third eye powers that his disciples, in some cases, in rare cases, are able to have. But later I found out that it's possible that he wasn't even the one who really taught them that. It was someone else who taught them that, and he took the credit. At least that's a claim. The other thing is he's very controversial right now because he has rape charges against him, and he's fled India, and the Indian government is looking for him. And there's also lots of rumors of him just being very abusive, verbally, especially towards his disciples, and sleeping with his disciples, even though he claims to be abstinent and tells everyone, don't have any sex ever because it will deplete your power. And so anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just get into it. Just give me a second to reground and get centered and back into meditation trance. Okay, doing a reading on Paramahamsa Nithyananda. So when I tune into him, I'm seeing his overall frequency color as being kind of like a almost pinkish violet. I'm going to go ahead and connect with that. And the first thing I see is a picture of him sitting on top of what looks like possibly a lotus or some sort of thing like that. And it's very astral. It's not like it's connected to the earth so much. It's very much, like etheric, if that makes any sense. So what's going on here? So I'm seeing these little, this is all like more of a metaphor that represents what's going on. But I'm seeing, well, actually this is not a metaphor. These are energies that are in his space, and the way that I'm seeing them is they look kind of like little fairies, basically, and they are bringing energy to him and then running out, and then bringing energy to him and then running out. And this energy that they're bringing to him, it looks like it's not very grounded energy. It's very, very like astral energy. It's there's a lot of like energetic beings kind of doing the work for him. Like he's kind of one claim that he said, before I get more into this, is that he said that he has kind of had Shiva come into his body and like take over his body. So the way that I'm seeing though, this is not so much, I'm not seeing Shiva, I'm seeing these little angels. Maybe Shiva will show up, but for now I'm just describing what I'm seeing at the moment. So what I'm seeing is they're bringing this really white light, and a lot of the times that can mean unconsciousness. So let me see, what is this white light? Yeah, it's taking him out of his body a little bit, so he's kind of like unconscious. But it's like it's letting other things into his body. So yeah, it's like he isn't really, it's like he's just kind of in this state of meditation, and he's like elevated up above everything else, so to speak, in like kind of la la land, I guess you could say, in the heavens, or just kind of not on the earth. So let me see, what does this mean? And he's not really looking at the earth. He's not really looking at like what's going on around him. He's just focused on the astral, to the point that he's disconnected from the earth. And there's these other beings bringing this energy and consciousness into him, doing things for him, basically, kind of ruling him. Let me see a little more about this. He's kind of just like stubbornly staring up at the sky, so to speak, or at like what he has his mind set on, which is basically becoming one with God, or becoming God. But there's something kind of stubborn about the way he's sitting here, because he's not really moving. He's kind of just like a statue in this position. And I'm seeing him. He's stagnant. He's not really going anywhere. He's just kind of allowing these other energies to kind of, do things for him. I'm trying to see, what are they doing? What are these energies doing? They don't want me to see them. They're very evasive. This is not like one thing, this is many things. They're bringing a higher consciousness to him, though. But there's like this, but it's like little bits of high consciousness mixed in with this, like, other energy that is really not, like, the way I'm seeing it is kind of like a lizard, if that makes any sense. And he's not high vibration, but he's like using high vibration energy, he's connecting with it, but it's not like it's him. It's like it's something kind of taking him over. Let's see, what are these little beings doing? Or why are they doing what they're doing? They say they have to. It's like they've almost been enslaved by this other energetic being. Huh. Oh, okay, so it's like they have to counterbalance this other energy. They're trying to help. It's like they have to keep things in balance on some level, because this other energy is really not very high energy at all, or high vibration, I guess you could say. It's kind of dark. It's kind of twisted and kind of sick and like old and decaying kind of energy that just kind of stubborn. Let's see, what's going on here? He's basically just allowed these energies to completely take him over. Just completely. I'm getting like 2% of him is still present, but then like he's just kind of not even in his body at all. Usually it's mostly something, all these other energies. Trying to tune into these other energies a little more. They're very, they're not very high vibration at all. Or this one energy, I should say. The main one that he's allowed in there. He's allowed it in there because it has lots of wisdom. It's very wise, it's very old. It has lots of experience, and it's very good at what it does. Let's see, what does it do? It snatches up, it's kind of just like, it snatches up energy, like it's able to feed off of energy. It's very patient. It's very strategic. The way I'm seeing it is it's like a lizard. Very, very strategic. And it looks like because of that, and because of its ability to work on the astral level, it's kind of got like godlike powers, you could say, on some level. And so it can definitely mimic a divine being, but it is definitely not a divine being. Wow, this is actually pretty interesting. I feel like I should move on, but this is too interesting. So I'm gonna keep looking at this. Let's see, how is this affecting him? It basically just gets whatever it wants. It basically is like his will, like it's basically completely consumed his will, and it just kind of feeds off of the power that he has as a powerful being. And I don't mean that like he's energetically powerful. I mean like the like hierarchical power that he has over other people. And his like lizard-like kind of behavior, in the way that, you know, reptiles do not have the humanity, the level of humanity that obviously mammals would have. And so it's there's just like this lack of care. And it's just like kind of eats whatever's there, like in the way that a snake may just eat whatever is, it doesn't really care what it's eating, you know. Let's see, how does this play out in his life? Let's see. So I'm seeing him being like he kind of he's working. He kind of has his head down. He looks very humble, but it looks like he has like a definite goal. Like he's very goal driven, in the sense that it's like, I want this and I want it done exactly like this right now, in this way, in this manner. And that's like the energy of this being working through him. And I'm seeing him taking it out on other people because of that. It's like, it almost makes him feel like like it's really pushing things really hard, pushing him really hard, to the point where he almost feels like kind of humbled on some level, because he is humble, but then this energy is definitely not humble, if that makes any sense. But it's like everyone becomes like a slave to this demanding, like, things must be done exactly like this, precisely. If you screw up, everything is black and white. It's like either you're doing it or you're not doing it. And there's no passion, no compassion for anyone who's not doing it. Like, you're either doing it or not. And it's very strict. So it looks like that's the way that this energy is affecting him. Whew, this is a powerful energy, so it's hard to really look at anything else right now. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out so that I can try and look at something different about him. Okay, so I'm going to look at some more things. I'm going to ask some more questions about him. Let's see. What do I want to ask? I'm going to see him in relation to his disciples and just what's going on there with that dynamic. So I'm seeing a picture of him. And again, he has this like humble look to him. Like he's actually... Yeah, it's kind of funny because he kind of looks humble when he's talking to his disciples, but then there's this, again, this being behind him that's just like within him, really. But I'm seeing it represented like standing behind him. And so yeah, like he himself is humble, but like his actions are not, because it's not his actions, if that makes any sense. So what's going on here with this dynamic? What is this? It's just making his disciples very obedient. Like really just to the point where they'll do anything basically seems to be the goal here. And to drive them to the point where they're just barely hanging on, or they just have like barely any like life force left within them, so that they'll just completely open their heart chakras up to this being, in a sense where they can be used. Because having your heart too open can actually be problematic, especially in conditions like this where you're just being used. Your goodness, even if you are the most good, positive energy, your good, positive energy is just being used and wasted. And that seems to be what's going on here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can think up another good question to look at. So I want to see like what he's doing currently, because I know there's a question of where he could be in the world. So I'm seeing a picture. This seems more symbolic than anything, and it's of a girl painting, and he's to the left of her. And it's like he's kind of telling her what to paint, and she's painting it. It looks like it's some kind of almost like wolf type being that she's painting. And he's like really getting into it emotionally or energetically, not emotionally necessarily, and really describing like this, like the viciousness of this being actually, as she's painting it, and she's creating this image of it, where he's really just describing it and like getting into like, it's almost like very passionate the way that he's doing it. It's like poetic, but there's this sense of viciousness to the way he's doing it, like a very sharp kind of blade type of energy, if that makes any sense. So what does this mean? So this girl is shows him the picture, and he's like, oh yeah, that's nice, but let's carry on something better. And then he kind of does it again. He kind of says the same thing, but he just kind of says the same thing, just continues doing the same thing, like trying to get her to really get it, and getting her to really do, it's like she wants her to be more sharp in some manner, and I don't mean sharp in the sense of like being like on point, although he does want that from her, but he also wants her to just be like almost just like feel the wrath of God, or like very wrathful, and very devoted in that same manner, in that same sense. So I'm seeing him being in this room with just this one girl primarily, and I'm seeing there being other people around him, not a whole lot of people though, like an adult woman, and some other little kids, some boys in there. I don't really see too many grown-up men around him. It's just mostly women. And then when he paints, he's painting this dragon, but he's doing it very elegantly, and it's not the same like sort of wrath, like power that he's trying to have everyone else draw, but he's doing it very elegantly. So it's like he reserves this sense of elegance for his expression of And this is like their expression, it's like almost worship. This is the energy of how they worship. So he's trying to get them to kind of worship that way. And then his way of worshiping is very like elegant and more like peaceful, I guess. It's not particularly peaceful, but it's less like wrathful, if that makes sense. And then he points to it and shows everybody how that's like the perfect picture, and he's got it down perfectly. But then when he tries to teach other people, he teaches them to do it with this more like sense of like as if they have to pound something into someone, as if there's been some sense of injustice that needs to be fixed with the wrath of revenge or whatever. I'm just seeing lots of women around him, like an older woman who is definitely like in charge of these children and in charge of the situation at hand. And it looks like there's like networks of people kind of going back. I'm seeing it has like a line of people, like there's a woman, the main woman, and there's kind of like another woman who kind of oversees everything and kind of oversees that woman, but she's less powerful. The more direct the people are to Nithyananda, the more powerful they are, and the further back, the less powerful they are. But it looks like there's another woman behind her, and then it goes back to more women, and then like there's men like further back, and it's like this line that kind of gets traced back to his temple in India. So then there's like this line of power going back. So like the main power, the most powerful people are not the ones so much over at his temple, although I do, now that I say that, I do see there is a little bit of power, but it's like medium power. Whereas like the ones who are really the most powerful within his organization are the ones who are with him. So I'm gonna try and see these other people like going back and like this line, like they're not, it's almost like they're going back and forth between the two locations, or they're in communication with both locations, whereas the people at the temple are not so much in communication with him. They're just in communication with the other people. It's like a game of telephone to some extent, and it looks like things kind of get washed down a little bit as the message goes down the line. It looks like he's like Nithyananda is very extreme about everything, and then by the time it kind of gets to the temple, it's not as extreme. It's like they kind of loosen up a little bit, and so the like punishments or the extreme discipline that he is seeking or pushing for people to be like so disciplined and so perfect, it gets kind of watered down the further away down the line it gets from him. And I'm seeing the people at the temple being more like Buddha-like, and him being more being very, very extreme, very, yeah, I don't know how else to put it. I'm gonna try not to go too long on this video, but I want to feel like there's a little bit more to look into here. So, how about his third eye children, the third eye power children, and their relation to him? So I'm saying it's like she's in a dungeon, this little girl with this power, and Nithyananda's there, and it's like she's kind of confined to this space, and she's very much so like not not really allowed to go out where he goes. Like she doesn't go where he goes. These are the children with the third eye powers and whatnot. The ones they actually do readings and they go on tours and whatnot and stuff like that. And anyways, I'm seeing him kind of like with his arms like crossed and like towering over her, kind of like as if he was like Superman or Batman that just walked into the room. Like he has that type of energy to him, and she's just sitting there like playing with toys. I'm seeing her, and in this metaphorically at least, like playing with like little trucks, like tractors, and just like her interest isn't really on the bigger things, like the big deals, like him and what he's all about. She's just like, you know, doing her thing, finding whatever she can to keep her interested. Um, they're very introverted. I'm seeing them all kind of represented by this one girl. To some extent. Um, yeah, and she's just kind of not really worried or not really concerned about what Nithyananda or what everyone else is doing. She's just kind of like living in her own little area where she's kind of confined on some level, it looks like. It looks like she's really carved her niche, so to speak, like she's carved like how she does things. She has these certain things that she does to keep her mind busy, like playful things that she does. Like this could be art, but I think it's more just like the way I'm seeing it is her playing with trucks, but I don't think it's literally that. I think it's more so like crafts, like arts and crafts, but not so much art. More so on the like just physical movement, doing things, um, like little things that kids would do just to pass the time. Looks like that's really what she's focused on, and that kind of gives her this sense of neutrality, which kind of helps her be able to tap in with her third eye more, and she's able to, you know, use that ability better. But it looks like if she was to, well, I'm actually seeing that she doesn't really like the way that Nithyananda acts sometimes, and that it's kind of like an annoying, like an angry cat, you know, that she's just kind of like doesn't want to have to deal with, and she doesn't really care for him too much. But it's kind of like in the way that, you know, you might have a principal at school that you don't like, but he's still the principal, and so you're never gonna like disobey the principal because then you'd be a bad kid, and she doesn't want to be a bad kid. Um, but she also thinks that he's just like a little, you know, over the top, and kind of angry and kind of forceful and not really fair. Um, let me go ahead and just see what is in Nithyananda's future. What's Nithyananda's future? Like keep seeing him in potentially behind bars, but I don't think this is literal. This is more like he's behind bars that are representing the his media, his following, I should say, his followers, and he's kind of he's away from them. And this is also the media as well, just the general media. He's not able to, approach them. And I just see him pacing back and forth, kind of in a fury, trying to figure out what he can do about this. But it looks like he's trapped, and it doesn't look like there's much that he can do about this. So I'm going to go ahead and see more, like, what does this mean for him? He has this brilliant idea, it looks like. I'm trying to see what this is. And it's a way to get more people to come to him, where he is, because he's kind of more confined, so he's trying to get more people to come to him. So then he can kind of create his own little following, his own little new clan, away from the bigger clan. And it looks like he's getting really more into magic, like appearing magical, or, looking like he's, like promoting the idea of magic more and more and more. And he wants his followers, this new clan of people who are able to kind of meet him where he is, to become more magical and become more like wizards. It looks like that's the direction he's heading. He's always kind of been like that, but it looks like he's like it's in a different way. So I'm gonna see what is this? How is this different? So it's not so much about achieving results. Like it used to be more focused on achieving results, but now it's more about the like magic ritual. I'm seeing this as him like moving a wand around, and it's not literal, it's symbolic, but that's the information I'm getting. And it's kind of more of a way of life, and it's a little more whimsical. He's trying to go in the direction of being a little more whimsical. I think because he was so serious, he's trying to leave this seriousness behind, where he was kind of like everything was kind of set in stone, and it was looks like that was kind of his downfall, and so now he's trying a slightly different method, more whimsical, more playful. He's trying to invite people to be a little bit more playful. There's still that level of strictness, like he still wants, like it's like my way or the highway kind of thing, but it's like he's giving people his creativity, and it's like so they can be creative, but they have to do it in his way. Kind of like earlier, that picture with the girl painting the picture, and he was telling her what to paint. That basically that again. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be hiding. I don't see him really. I see him being like kind of like on his own lonely little island. And not lonely, I shouldn't say, but he feels kind of, but it's kind of lonely compared to where he was. and he's able to have more followers that are like closer to him versus kind of being on a podium and everybody else kind of far away from him. I mean, that's still the case with the general crowd, but like with the more few select that are able to actually find him and be around him, it looks like those few are more engaged with him in a more creative manner, even though it's not really creative on their end, it's just creative on his end, but it's more elaborate. Um, I see him because he's kind of stuck and he knows it. He's becoming more creative, and this creativity is his way of kind of escaping the being stuck feeling. And it looks like this is actually really good for him. It looks like he's able to be less like kind of negative, less abusive, more creative. The way I'm seeing it is like somebody who's in tap dancing classes, and the teacher's like no, like this, like yelling at them, and like um like this, like, oh, you got it, or like, yeah, you got it, or like, no, and like just like kind of yelling at them like that, like, yeah, no, yeah, no, like, but it's like there's a lot more joy to it than previously before, where it was just like really like just like ultra serious, and there's more of this creativity. It looks like that's coming in for him, so that's a positive thing. So I'm gonna look at one more thing really quick, and that is his sex life. So what I'm seeing symbolizing his sex life is him, and he has this staff, and it has like a golden, I mean not a golden, I mean a like a crystal ball at the top, and he's holding it up to what looks like a hermit, like the hermit card from tarot cards. It looks like he's touching it, and it's like igniting and glowing. So I'm trying to understand what this means. He has this little baby in his arms, like he's taking care of this baby, like he's in charge, like he's kind of like the father figure. He's the it's almost like he's the mother, though, is more what I'm getting. It's kind of weird. It's like he's the mother and the father of these children. So I'm trying to see, what does this have to do with his sex life? He kind of is the father and the mother of everyone in his circle, to the point where there's like this fatherly, motherly love towards him from everyone, like as if he was their dad. And so I'm seeing that that's attracting women to him, to want to just kind of hug him and adore him as if he was their father. And then there's something about this crystal ball that he has, and it's like the light of it. It's like enlightenment is what it represents, and it's like he's kind of like putting it into their head, is the way I'm seeing it. And then it's like sex becomes enlightening, is basically what I'm getting here. Or it's like it's like he's creating this path so that carving the path, so to speak, for sex to be enlightenment, so that like it's no longer giving in to pleasure now because he's so enlightened and whatnot, and like a father figure. He's carved this process. If you follow it exactly, it's actually very enlightening if you do it this particular sort of way that he is permitting. And it's almost like like you wouldn't know about it unless you were close to him, because it's not something that you can explain. It's something like more, you know, intimate. You have to kind of come to the realization on your own by basically getting to his status by being around him. And it looks like that's really the way that he goes about it, and it's as if as if these women are not having sex with him for the pleasure of it, as much as for, well, I'm not saying they aren't, but it's like the main driving purpose for it is this path of enlightenment, and it's like to increase their spiritual growth is the way that they're seeing it. I'm gonna see what's going on in the background here. What am I not supposed to see? So I ask that, I see a picture of him with turkey and like a knife, and he's like cutting off the turkey leg, and it's like women are basically just meat, is basically the message I'm getting here. But there's something interesting here. It's like there's this aspect that you should sacrifice yourself in some, not like kill yourself, but like the ultimate sacrifice to God or Shiva or whatever is to completely like just give yourself to this purpose. And so it's interesting because there's almost something spiritual about it to him. So it's not like he's just completely full of it, like just lying and using women, like, but he is, but it's like in his mind it's confusing. It's kind of both at the same time, actually. But it looks like he's not, like, he's definitely very much so just interested in the flesh aspect of it and just kind of like consuming the flesh, so to speak. And just kind of like on to the next one. Like he doesn't have any commitment to anyone at all. It's just kind of like if it smells good. It's like I see him like smelling this like meat. Like if it smells good, then it's ripe and it's ready. But it's like he's very particular too, and it's like he's like nah. You're just like oh that's good still, you know, or whatever. Let's see. I want to see one last thing before I end this. What is his like actual like spiritual abilities, because he talks about all these super spiritual abilities he has, so I want to look more into that. So what are his actual superpowers? I'm getting the sense that he does not want me to look at this. Ooh, there's a lot of energy in the way of me seeing this. But what I'm getting is that it's just like him chanting, and like the power is within these chants, I guess mantras. And it's really just like his, like, I'm seeing him chanting and like going to this mantra deep trance state where he's able to kind of just like create his intention. It looks like his intention it's like he's able to visualize what he wants and just kind of manifest that through just like sheer intention and focus. Like he has a very strong focus. He's kind of able to make reality whatever he wants just by doing that alone. Like he's really good at it. Like he can just really, 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 really hone in on one thing and just like drive it into his mind to like kind of manifest it. But what about all these other powers? So it's like he can almost manifest him having these superpowers, but it's not like they're really, like he really has these superpowers. It's more like he can just manifest scenarios where it works out for him. Like say he has a superpower, and then he manifests it working out for him to like demonstrate that he has that. But it's not so much that he has it, if that makes sense, as much as it is that he's just able to kind of on some level manifest the circumstances of him getting what he wants. And that would be more like him demonstrating these powers than actually having those powers, if that makes any sense. So there is like a definite sense of like magic coming from him, that he can he really can control this energy. But it's like a very, very, it's kind of it's almost like Aleister Crowley, but a little bit darker, actually. A little darker than Aleister Crowley. Yeah, just sheer willpower, sheer intention. Let's see, what about him giving these powers to other people? I'm just saying that as just being bullshit and not even working out for him. Like I'm like touching people's foreheads, and he's able to like send this energy to them where they feel it and they're like, ooh, wow, and they have like this moment where they really feel like something's changed for them, but it's all like just his energy, and it's not that they're actually becoming enlightened or learning these skills. It's kind of like what comes to my mind is you can give somebody fish, or why give somebody fish when you can teach them to fish? And he's not really teaching them to fish. He's just giving them fish and making them dependent and needing him, even though Yeah, it's like he just has one real tool, which is this ability to like use his willpower and intention and like create like this really powerful energy. And I don't really see him being able to do the third eye powers like these girls actually are that he's trained. I don't see him doing that himself. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this. It's gone on a little too long. I'm gonna have to clear out some energy after I stop this video, but thanks for watching. Yeah. If you like this video, subscribe, like it, share it, hit the notification bell, put it on all notifications. Have a great day.